Well, hello hyperspace, my name is Davontos, and it's time to get hyped because this is some really old Overwatch gameplay. Not that old, I'm getting better with D.Va, but this is still before I had my golden D.Va guns, but that's beyond the point. In this video, we're actually going to talk about a lot of stuff that might happen to Overwatch because they're making a whole bunch of changes into PTR. Some of them pretty good, some of them seem a little OP, and some of them are really questionable, but let's actually cover what they've done in the PTR and what might happen in the future updates to the PTR, which will probably be the future updates that hit PC and console, so let's cover it. Right off the bat, we're going to get off to Sombra. So, in the PTR, I believe these changes also hit Sombra live when the Chinese event was first updated and they quickly removed it. So with Sombra, let's actually talk about her hacking. Her hacking, she hacks faster. Now, I believe it takes 1.5 seconds for her to hack a target. With this new update for Sombra, I believe it takes 1 second. I'm not too sure on the exact time, but I do know that the new Sombra, which should hit public servers probably after the Chinese event, I'm not too sure, but whenever the new Sombra does come up, she will be hacking faster, just slightly faster. And also when it comes down to these health packs. Now, when Sombra hacks a health pack and a teammate or yourself grab that hacked health pack, it fills up a little bit of your ultimate. With the new Sombra, that will no longer happen. The developers actually went on and said that they didn't like this idea because it was making EMPs happen too frequently, and we all know that the EMP is a very powerful ultimate if it's comboed with something else. So I guess it makes sense to kind of slow down the EMP that way. But because Sombra's not going to be getting a lot of ultimate charge from the health packs, they increased the accuracy on her weapon. They reduced the hip spread by 10%, which means her weapon is, I guess, pretty much more accurate, which means it's going to be doing more damage because more bullets are going to be hitting your target. So Sombra's kind of going to be playing very similar to a stealthy assassin-like character. So, you appear out of nowhere, you quickly hack your target, and then because your gun is doing more damage now, or I guess more bullets are hitting your target, you can down them much faster. So Sombra's gonna be like a stealthy, sneaky assassin-like, pick off people and then teleport right away. Speaking of teleporting, her translocator is also getting a slight buff. So what the translocator does now is, you throw it, and I believe it has a 15-second cooldown time. In the new Sombra, it's going to have a 20-second cooldown time. Not cooldown, I mean, active time. The cooldown stays the same at 4 or 5 seconds, but when you actually throw it, it stays active for 15 seconds. The new Sombra is going to stay active for 20 seconds. And the reason they're doing this is because the developers have said that they see there have been a couple of times where you throw the translocator as Sombra and then, you cloak and you wind up running around the place doing your Sombra things and you just don't have enough time to get things done before you have to wind up teleporting back to the translocator, or there have been cases where you just completely forget about the translocator because it's gone so quickly. So they gave the translocator a little bit more time so you can have more time to do Sombra things before teleporting back to safety. And this is kind of turning Sombra into as I said, a stealthy assassin, or basically think of her like a very stealthy Soldier 76, mostly focused on DPS and, eliminating primary targets. Now, another one is with Mei. Mei on the PTR, she's basically exactly the same except for two things. I believe the range on her primary fire, which is, the hair dryer, those puffs that slowly hit your opponent and freeze them, I believe the range was increased. I'm not too sure, but what I do know is the duration that it takes for people to be frozen has increased by 0.5 seconds. At the moment, it takes Mei 1 second to freeze a target solid, assuming all your hits, make contact. With the PTR Mei, it takes 1.5 seconds, which isn't really much of a difference, but if me being a guy who plays a lot of Mei, that would be really noticeable, and it would actually be better, because there have been times where I'm trying to freeze somebody, and because they freeze so quickly, it gives you kind of a hard time to land that headshot. So for you giving an extra 0.5 seconds, it'll be much easier to land those headshots, and on top of that, these guys are very vulnerable when they're slowing down to the point of being frozen, so just think of it, you have 0.5 more seconds to be slowed down. Easy picking, easy target. Another change for Mei was her secondary fire, which is where the, her little gun shoots the icicle pick thingies. At the moment, she can fire 8 of those icicles, and that means each one takes 25 ammo because she has 200 ammo per clip. PTR, it now takes 20, which means she can fire 10 icicle picks. Does the same amount of damage, you just have basically 2 extra shots, which I guess is also nice to have. And another change that's coming onto the PTR is on Doomfist. Now, this is actually not a game-changing thing that they've done to Doomfist, but I guess it can make Doomfist a little easier to handle for you guys who want to pick him up, but he's a little too difficult. What they've done is with his shotgun blast on his left hand, they made it regenerate ammo faster. Some people call it reloading, some people call it regenerating ammo. Whatever it is, it just happens faster. And on top of that, they gave him more pellets per shot. Very similar to what they did to D.Va. Back in the day, every time you pressed the trigger button and one of D.Va's cannons would fire, it would fire 8 shotgun pellets. They increased it to 11. It's more pellets, but each pellet does less damage, kind of balancing it out. They did the exact same thing to Doomfist. I'm not too sure how many pellets fire per shot from Doomfist's shotgun, but if it's anything like D.Va, it probably went from 6 to 8, or maybe 8 to 11, and it's just going to be really easier, it's just going to be a lot easier to land these shots as Doomfist, and I guess overall do slightly more damage because you have more pellets, so technically you can, I guess, do more damage. They'll probably find a way to balance it out, but it's not that much of a change, but it's going to make them a lot easier to handle. And finally, these are not on the PTR yet, but there is rumor going about that changes will be made to Hanzo's Scatter Arrow, and they are going to make changes to Symmetra and Torbjorn. Hanzo because they feel like the Scatter Arrow is way too powerful, but we have no idea what they're going to do. Symmetra and Torbjorn because they want those two characters to feel a little more engaged in the battlefield. Now, I have no idea what they're going to do, nothing hit the PTR, but as soon as I make those changes, I'll let you guys know. So if you like this video, punch that like button with a mighty force. You can follow me up on Twitter at Davontos, and as always, I'll see all of you in the next video. Have a nice day!